Alexander the Great was the Macedonian ruler who established the largest empire the ancient world had ever seen. Though he died at a young age, his influence was so profound that it inspired a new historical era, the Hellenistic period. Alexander took over Philip's throne at the age of 20. He had been a commander in the army since he was 16. Upon becoming a commander, he cut his shoulder-length hair and ordered his soldiers to shave their beards. This, he said, would keep enemy soldiers from grabbing them in close combat. Alexander was physically strong and good-looking. He also developed his mind. For 3 years, Aristotle had taught him literature, political science, geography, and biology. Because of this, Alexander included philosophers and scientists in his army. The scientists collected plant and animal samples from newly conquered lands and sent them to Aristotle for examination. Alexander was a great general who feared nothing. He crushed the Persian Empire and then marched as far east as northern India. He would have gone further, but his troops refused. In the course of his conquest, Alexander covered more than 22,000 miles from the Nile to the Indus rivers. Through all that territory, he never lost a battle. Alexander had a dream of a worldwide state in which all people would live together in peace. He wanted to bring unity and justice to his empire. He believed the only way to achieve this goal was to unite the Macedonians, the Greeks, and the Persians. He began by taking Persian soldiers into his army. Next, he married a Persian woman and had 80 of his leading army officers married Persian women too. Then he began to dress in Persian fashion and to follow some Persian customs. One custom was for rulers to claim they were gods. So Alexander claimed he was a god and insisted that people treat him that way. The Macedonians and Greeks, however, refused to do so. The Greeks also objected to equal treatment for the Persians. They looked down on all people who did not speak Greek or follow Greek customs. They called such people barbaroi, from which the word barbarian comes. Because of such feelings, Alexander's attempt to achieve unity among the people in his empire was not successful. During his rule, Alexander found about 70 cities, 16 of which were named Alexandria, after himself. He encouraged Greeks and Macedonians to settle in these new cities, which were scattered throughout the empire. The most noted Alexandria was in Egypt. Within 70 years after its founding, it had become a center of trade and learning. Greeks from throughout the Mediterranean came there. They wanted to make the most of its economic opportunities and to be part of its intellectual and social life. Alexandria had 2 great harbors. They were protected by breakwaters, or barriers that break the force of waves. A lighthouse 400 feet tall dominated the harbors. It is considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. Looking out over the chief harbor was a palace and a school with a library. The school was known as the Museum. It became a center for poets, writers, philosophers, and scientists. The library had the largest collection of books in ancient times. There, Euclid wrote his geometry book. Eratosthenes reasoned that his ship could reach India by sailing west from Spain. There, Archimedes and Hero invented several machines. By 323 BC, when Alexander was in Babylon, he became ill and died. He was 33 years old and ruled for 13 years. The areas Alexander had conquered in India returned to their original owners. 3 of Alexander's generals divided the rest of the empire among themselves. Antigonus became king of Macedonia. Ptolemy established the dynasty of the Ptolemies in Egypt, and Seleucus formed the Seleucid Empire in Persia. Athens and Sparta became independent city-states. Most other Greek city-states banded together into one of 2 leagues, but neither league had much power or importance. Greece's cultural influence, however, became stronger than ever after Alexander's death. The rulers who took Alexander's place adopted Greek as their language and used Alexander's titles. They even used his portrait on their coins. Trade grew. From Africa and Asia came spices, ivory, incense, pearls, and rare woods. From Syria and Egypt came glass metals and linen. From Greece came olive oil, wine, and pottery. From Sicily and Egypt came wheat. The cities that had been part of Alexander's empire now existed chiefly for trade and grew along with it. City officials made their laws, languages, calendar, and coins Greek. Teachers brought Greek customs and ideas into schools. Merchant and bankers used Greek methods to run their businesses.